Hey, what's up, guys? Dang, it's your boy Speed here, and today we're gonna be looking at Mid GYROCOPTER. Alright, it's the hero that Mid has been playing as of late. He's going a really wacky build, and I thought I'd show it to you guys because I think it's a great way to catch your opponents off guard and win some fast MMR right now. GYROCOPTER is one of those weird heroes where he always feels like he has a lot of potential. Considering he does some of the highest amounts of AoE damage in the game, or just straight up damage in the game, it's like, if we can enable this hero, we can probably win the game. But we're going to look at how Mid enables GYROCOPTER, because often this hero has sustain issues, and therefore, how do you fix that? Well, we're going to learn that from Mid in this game. Also, we'll get to see a little bit of OG No Tails Pangolier. My man has been playing so much Pango. He's been playing it as 5. This game he's playing it as 3. I don't know, OG's about to pick some Pango. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. OG will be picking Pango soon. I guarantee their first faith in that hero, because he can flex it. But alright, before we get into it, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and of course, click the link down below to get your gameleap sub if you want to make DPC season like Speed and lose 3 best of 2s in a row. Alright, so what makes Gyro a viable hero? The first thing that makes him a viable hero as a mid laner is his base attack time. Yes, you heard that right. It's really low. Your hero has really high agility and low base attack time. You have 161 attack speed with a couple stat items. Let's look at this in comparison to some other heroes, alright? This is a little Dota learning lesson. Gyro is 161, right? Let's look at Pango, for instance. 122. Let's look at a hero like Lion. 133. SF. 125. You seeing the thing here? Earth Spirit, even worse. 119. Maybe Enigma's even worse. Yeah. 114, right? Gyro, for whatever reason, Valve decided he's gonna have really high attack speed. What does this mean? It means you can hit creeps twice before opponents can even realize, and therefore you'll get extra denies and extra CS. And let's take a look at him doing that. Upcoming here, you'll see him put a rocket on the SF, and honestly, this is like the entire idea behind this GYROCOPTER. You play against the hero, you put a lot of points in your rocket. He even took it at level 3, right? So he prioritized it over the barrage. And then you put it on the opponent, and when it's gonna go stun them, you deny and CS creeps. And with your high base attack time, that's not a problem at all. In fact, look at this range creep. SF gets stunned, he's gonna wanna walk back to secure it. But with his high base attack time, 2 hits is nothing, and he immediately kills it. Next up, you're obviously gonna buy a bottle. He also buys a stick. You know, SF is a hero that spams a lot of spells, so the stick is very, very reasonable. On top of that, if you happen to find a rune like a haste rune, you have a lot of kill potential. On top of that, if you find a double damage, you also can go for a lot of dive plays. What people don't understand about GYROCOPTER is this hero's missile plus rocket barrage combo just has insane kill threat. For instance, right here, if we think about this from our average 3K player perspective game, okay? What would the SF do? He would not respect the haste rune, I'm just being honest, alright? He would not respect the haste rune, Gyro would put down the rocket, pop the haste, and dive him. Insta kill. Right? It's a ton of damage. And you're gonna notice the SF, being the smart player that he is, completely leaves. He doesn't even try to contest the lane anymore. Eventually, after chasing SF around the entire map, he finds him in the river, and look at that damage. I mean, it is really, really insane. Gyro in the early game is actually ridiculous, which is why I think this hero will continue to shift to be more of a mid laner than a safe laner. It has a great ability to secure creeps, the rocket, and then it has some incredible rotation potential, especially based off runes, right? Invis, DD's haste. I mean, look at this guy. This SF thought he was going to live, right? Dead. And of course, that's not going to be all. After he gets this SF kill, he's going to proceed to tip him. You know, you always got to get inside of people's heads. And then proceeds to follow it up with a nice little rotation onto the Earth Spirit. Pops the rocket barrage before the stun hits, because obviously he will still do the damage. Snipes a courier, and heads back towards the mid lane. Next up, I'd just like to discuss a very cool high-level concept from Mid here. This is something I've also been thinking a lot about, and even trying to execute in a lot of my matches recently. And it doesn't have to apply to necessarily a mid hero, this can also apply to supports and safe laners. The mid laner just happens to be able to do it the best because he's the highest level, he's the highest impact hero in the early game. So if we take a look at this clip here, Mid he wants to make a move. You don't pick Gyro to AFK farm. I mean, you could. Some people do that with IO Gyro, but this hero, as I said, does a lot of damage. It out DPSs almost every other hero in the early game. It's quite ridiculous. So what is he gonna do? Now, you might be saying, Speed, why would he run bottom here? There's no one there. Like, literally, he is running to an empty lane. That seems so dumb. It does, right? But what does this do for the map? Let's take a look, because he could obviously easily farm the mid wave. What would you do? What would I do? We would all just farm the mid lane, because it doesn't seem like there's a gank to be made. But let's see what this rotation actually does. As he walks bottom here, the first thing he's going to do is take a stack. To be fair, this is the main reason why he's here. Let's not deny that there's a stack. His team's going to TP in. They're going to kill the stack. Him and his boy No Tail going to clean it up for some neutral items. Very nice. Neutral items, very, very important. But after that, he doesn't just walk back mid. He could, if his whole goal was to just take the stack and go back mid, that's what he would do. But instead, he stays bottom. Why does he stay bottom? Because he knows a lot of heroes cannot pressure him. This is big. Specifically, the hero in the lane cannot pressure him and cannot approach the lane, the Ursa. The Ursa cannot walk up to Gyrocopter. Because Ursa cannot walk up to Gyrocopter, the lane will become vacant for a short period of time. Because of that, the enemy team has to make a hard decision. TP bottom and contest a Gyrocopter who could potentially kill them if they mess up, or just stick in the other lanes. But what happens if they stick in the other lanes? Then Ursa is going to have to TP to an Enigma lane, and that's going to mess up one of their games. Not terribly, but it will just at least shift them into a slightly worse position. However, if he didn't go here, maybe Ursa can continue to farm bottom and play his game. Instead, Ursa gets kicked to the jungle. They're going to put some pressure, and look what it does. It opens up the bottom side of the map for this Juggernaut. Juggernaut's like, oh, Ursa, my counter is not here anymore. Sure, Ursa was actually feeding, so, honestly, even if Ursa was, a Jug it was countered by Ursa, it wouldn't matter, but let's assume that the Ursa didn't completely feed. Honestly, in that case, I think this rotation would be even better. It would really open up this map, this tower in specific, for the Juggernaut. Then, the Juggernaut can even farm this side of the map, which is a big, big deal. Then what item does he buy next? Oh, you guessed it, Boots of Travel. Dude, Mid1 seems to buy Boots of Travel on literally every hero right now. I think he just values the movement speed and ability to move around the map. I mean, after all, that's what Boots of Travel does. Obviously, he values it. What I'd like to say, though, is that honestly, I've tried out Boots of Travel a couple games now on various heroes. What heroes did I do it on? I did it on Jug. I did it on Tiny. And it kind of just felt good. You save a lot of gold from not having to buy TPs. Just being real, like think about it, you could save like 500, 600 net worth, 700 net worth through the course of the game for not having to buy TPs. And on top of that, being able to be anywhere at any time on a 40-second cooldown instead of the average 70 is quite good. So what is he going to do with these Boots of Travel? He's going to run at an Ursa in the side lane. Now, why is this so good? First of all, he's maxed Rocket, which is cool. But most importantly, he has so much movement speed. Gyro, in order to kill people with magical damage builds, requires to be able to kite them and stay on top of them. What does Boots of Travel do? Well, exactly that, and that's kind of exactly what this clip is going to show you. He just runs sort of at the Ursa, kicks him out of the lane, puts another rocket on him to grief him again. The Ursa walks up, so he drops the ulti, drops the Q, and nearly solo kills him. Boom! Ursa's game is completely ruined. And this is why most players just never movie Mid1. They know how to hit creeps, they know how to take a stack with flat cannon, but they don't know how to make cool plays like this, where they enable their own farm, but also kick the enemy carry out of a lane, and basically make the enemy team have very little win condition, right? It's a very good Ursa game against the Juggernaut. I also would say it's good against Gyro later on into the game. Gyro can't really handle an Ursa getting on top of him, so if Ursa ever gets that farm, he's probably going to pop off. And what do you know? He's going to go back at bottom again after he TP'd back to base and heal. He rockets up the Ursa. Ursa decides to TP out. And yeah, he's just going to kind of rinse repeat this. And this is what the Boots of Travel build does. It allows you to just bully weaker enemy carries out of the lane, especially when you're a mid laner with a lot of levels, or if you're a safe laner with a good start. And really, this game is funny, and the reason why I like showing it to you guys is just that he keeps doing the same thing over and over again. This is why you got to learn to play the aggressive parts of the map. Because it's not always dangerous, right? Right here, the enemy team is top. You should go bottom. Bottom's actually safe. There's farm bottom. On top of that, he needs to open up other parts of the map for his Jug to farm. Imagine if he went Shreds Ags. He would be taking the same farm that the Jug wants, and then no one could push in any lanes. No one would have any farm. They'd have to split the farm. So instead, he makes this really nice play where he continues to run at this Ursa. They kick him out of lane again. They force Enrage again, and they continue to grief this Ursa. Now, for his next item, he buys Hood. It's just to be tanky, that's it. Let's move on. But what you notice about the bots that's very important is you're constantly playing, not necessarily away from your team, because he saw, he was working with No Tail earlier, but you're often playing in the parts of the map that they're not. So let's say you take a fight top, and you have bots. Very often you want to instantly Boots of Travel to the mid or to the bottom lane, because then you're going to just essentially push in the lanes, open up the map for your team, right? Grant them some deeper vision, and most importantly, just give yourself a lot of farm. And what I like about this clip is exactly that. As he's pushing in bottom, his team ends up getting into an engagement, so he instantly TPs in. The boots of travel come in handy once again, pops his bottle to guarantee he has some mana for the fight, dodges an Earth Spirit roll, I don't know how, I feel like it was luck, and he continues to run over this fight. It's quite an incredible performance, and you can see he's absolutely everywhere. Great black hole, but unfortunately, the Lich did not get caught in it, and he picks up another kill. And this game is really just an honor to watch. It's quite funny. As his team is going mid here, he actually TPs bottom. And this is something I want you all to take into account for your own pubs, which is don't always worry about being at the fight right away. It's funny, I coach a lot of people, right? You guys know that, I'm sure, at this point. I'm constantly coaching people one-on-one. And very often what I see, especially for core players, definitely mid laners that holds them back, especially mid laners that, you know, hit a lot of creeps, such as Storm, Puck can be the hero, even Ember, TA, right? These type of heroes. What you end up noticing is that a lot of the time, people have this problem where they have to be at every fight right away. They feel like they do, because they're afraid their team will flame them if they don't. But the problem is you'll never become a better player if you know, fall victim to your teammates getting angry. You see what I'm saying? So you want to be more like mid one. Oh, is the Pango rolling mid and it doesn't look like a great engagement? Okay, I'll TP bottom, right? Why would he want to TP into this? There's nowhere to TP in a great location. It's under a tier 2 tower mid, which is just a horrible fight location. And so he split pushes. Now, it seems like, oh, but his team is going in. He should be there. And you might be saying, oh, this is such a bad TP. But no, he didn't know. He didn't know. And he has bots. This is a good play. Continue to split the map like this. Take the greedy farm. You have to learn to do what he does here, which is play the side lanes and learn to take 1v1s. In fact, these type of engagements that you see here teach you so much about Dota. It teaches you so much because when you have to 1v1 a nurse like this, you learn when you have to kite him out. Mid one knows exactly when he has to run away and when he can run in, right? So let's look at it. When does he have to run away? He has to run away when Ursa starts out the engagement, because otherwise he will just instantly build up too many Fury Swipes. So he puts on the rocket and instantly runs away. A lot of players wouldn't have known to do that. They might have manned up. Now, Dota's a pretty old game. A lot of people know to run away from Ursa, but let's keep going, right? So he keeps hitting, rocket connects, but he sees the enrage. That means he has to kite out, has to wait out the enrage essentially completely. Now, he wants to bait the Ursa in, so instead of running straight back, he runs around. Then, as the enrage ends, he pops his Q, continues to kite out, quickly puts down the rocket, right? Really nice movement. Put it down, but then instantly kept going. Extremely good movement, continuing to kite with the rocket barrage. The rocket's about to connect, drops the ulti, and the creeps finish off the Ursa. Incredibly well done. Perfect execution. And that's why he's mid one. And this is also why he's mid one. He's dead. And really, to end off this video before we just kind of take a look at what happens, I want you guys to look at this game and think if you were in the Ursa's shoes. Think about how miserable you would be, especially if you aren't good at taking engagements and you don't know exactly what to do and how to deal with this type of thing. I mean, clearly the Ursa didn't. You would just feed, just like the Ursa did. Now you might be saying, how is this Ursa rank 112? It's because most players aren't used to getting run at by a boots of travel gyrocopter in side lanes. It's very uncommon, it's hard to deal with, and it puts you in an uncomfortable state where you make mistakes, right? So just think about it. How would you feel if you're the Ursa? Now, you need to think about that, and then also say, okay, how can I make other people feel like the Ursa? You're likely playing too defensive in your pubs. How I see it, and one of these philosophies that I've really, I don't even know if you'd call it philosophies, ideas that I've come to believe in when it comes to improving in Dota, is taking a lot of risk. Take risk, right? If you don't know whether or not you'll die pushing in side lanes, but you know it's a good play because, you know, Papa Speed told you to, go push in some side lanes. Go test it out, right? I was recently coaching a puck player and I had to, tell him, just keep going. We were doing it live, right? We were doing a 1v1 live. I had to keep going. Why does everyone back? Look what he's doing here. How many people would do this? How many people would do this? Think about it. Very little, because they would be very afraid of getting flamed by their team or just dying for themselves, but they'd be very afraid of getting flamed by their team for making a psycho play. But you know what happens when you do this? You learn. I know it seems stupid. I know it seems weird, but you learn. It trains your reaction time. He's able to dodge out this Earth Spirit roll. He knows the silence kick is going to come in. Continues to kite out. Gets a good hood pop timing. He's going to have to kite out the BKB, right? Then he sees a good roll coming in from the Pango. Doesn't decide to turn for that. Goes for the Earth Spirit instead. And is going to proceed to run him down eventually with the rocket. And to end off the video, let's take a look at how this fight really plays out. It's well done. The hood really comes in handy. Ends up keeping him alive. We'll see that in a moment. I mean, it's just the overall match persist that keeps them alive. The Pango ends up getting gone on. Really nice initiation by the enemy team. They absolutely blow up No Tail. Has the kite to the side. Understands that his troll is going in. Really good flak. Why? Because they have vision of all the heroes and they're all in a range of flak. So he's got that creep wave to bounce it off of. Super clean. Just gets a lot of nice value damage. Also ends up picking the kill onto the Earth Spirit. Then after that, he's going to pop his Q. Sees the black hole coming. Really nice glimmer by, I believe his Lich ends up glimmering him. Oh no, he was just Eternal Shrouded. With the healing word on top. Ends up just completely living through it. Pops the E-Blade just to protect himself, just in case, you know, they don't have perfect reactions. They don't know exactly what's happening. And he ends up cleaning everybody up. Beautifully done. And that's why you gotta take risks. On top of just learning, if the enemy team messes up an initiation onto you, they're gonna overextend. It's gonna allow your team to jump the target that they want and clean up the fight. But thanks for watching. I know this video was very different from a lot of the other ones. I'm just trying things out, you know, trying to mix things up. I'll be making videos for Dota probably for another few years. Who knows, maybe longer than that. Who knows if Dota will ever die or if anything like that. I don't know. I love Dota. We all love Dota, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you in the next one, and peace. But yeah, that's going to be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the GameLeap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.